Over the past 9 months, I've accumulated over 50,000 organic streams on SoundCloud and over 600,000 views on TikTok, from just a few euros a day in ads. One AI artist built entirely from prompts, and from me. My name is Damjan. In this video, I'm going to show you my full pipeline for creating AI music and the content that promotes it. From a blank text file to a published track with visual content. No studio, no band, no film crew. Just prompts. Let's say you want to release a song. The old way, you book studio time, you pay a producer for the beat, you hire a singer if you can't sing yourself. Then you need cover art. That's a designer. Then a music video. That's a videographer, a location, and edit. Then marketing. That's an agency or a label taking a cut. You're probably looking at thousands of euros and months of work for a single release. And that's before anyone has even heard it. For the entire pipeline, I'm using a handful of tools. Suno for the music. I'm on the Pro or Premiere plan. You need it for the commercial rights and the higher quality output. Claude for the prompts, the cover concept and the descriptions, and Higgsfield for the visuals and the video generation, which I'm using with the Ultra plan. Then I'm using Photoshop for the cover template and Premiere for the final cut. My artist is called Desetka. Here we can see him. Previously, I wasn't able to build the AI persona on top of my own face, which now worked out quite well. Everything you see is generated, but it's still me. So today I'm going to walk you through the entire release I created for my track called Ocean. I'll show you my workflow for the track itself, the cover, the SoundCloud upload, the TikTok video, and the ad campaign that pushes it. I'll use a track I already made as the example, and it's called Ocean, which stands for ocean. And I used to call it Mamuran, but then I basically just switched it over and called it Ocean, because, yeah, it's mentioned a few times within the song itself. So let me show you how I created it. The workflow consists of 6 phases. Phase 1, write the lyrics. Phase 2, generate the song in Suno. Phase 3, create the cover art. Phase 4, upload to SoundCloud. Phase 5, produce the video in Higgsfield. Phase 6, distribute and advertise. First, the lyrics. I write everything in a plain text editor first. No fancy tools, just a blank file. But I always follow the same structure. Instrumental intro, hook, verse 1, pre-hook, hook, verse 2, pre-hook, hook, instrumental outro. Why this structure? Because it gives the song a clear shape before a single note exists. The hook repeats. That's what people remember. The verses carry the story. The pre-hook builds the tension right before the drop. For Ocean, the lyrics are in Serbian. The hook sets the whole mood. Deeper than the ocean, deep with no end. It's a heartbreak song. Heavy on purpose. Tag every section clearly, in brackets. Suno reads those tags. That structure is your roadmap. Basically what you could also do is to add specifications such as, for example, what I always do is hypnotic melodic delivery, for example. So this gives Suno additional information on what we want to have the song sound like. The song. There are 2 ways I work in Suno. Path 1, the fast way. I paste the lyrics, add a style prompt, and generate the full song directly. So here are our new tracks, and listen to them.
Dublja još od okeana, duboka da nema kraja. To je što me boli sada u sebi, što ne nosim rana. Dublja još od okeana, dublja još od okeana, duboka da nema kraja.
So this approach is what I would describe as less controlled. And there we have a different approach, and this one is the one I usually prefer. So first, what we do is basically just generating an instrumental, and of course, using the styles. We want to have our final song to sound like. It's basically a focus prompt for the vibe I'm after. Now we're doing the same thing as before. Opening up more options, setting weirdness to 35, style influence to 75, and hitting create. I keep generating until the beat actually hits. When the instrumental is right, I use Suno's cover function. We're basically using the version we liked, and maybe we've adjusted the lyrics a bit, maybe something sounded a bit off, and we've now improved it, and now we can give it a new try. So there is an entire creative process behind it, mixing different styles, trying out different variations of like pronunciations and also like flows in order to get like the desired results. Yeah, so I wasn't quite satisfied with the pronunciation of certain words or like the hook itself. And what I did is iterating multiple times using only 25% of the audio reference from the previous song, and then just covering each and every single song once again, until I get the desired results. And this one's the final version, which is basically like this one over here, just remastered using the normal variation strength. And yeah. Phase 3, the cover. After we've generated our track, we need a cover artwork. First, I go to Pinterest. On Pinterest, I'm not looking for the exact cover, I'm looking for a feeling. Lighting, color, mood. I save a few images that match the song. Here we go. This image is basically the one that currently serves as a placeholder, I would say, as the cover artwork of the release on SoundCloud, as I currently don't have any commercial intentions behind it. And yeah, this is basically the image. Just cropped it, and this is what I do. I just save it, and I'm gonna open up Photoshop and show you how I create the cover artwork. I always try to keep my cover artworks uniform in some sort of way, and how I do that is basically taking the image I've downloaded and adding it into a separate window where I crop it so that it has an aspect ratio of 1:1. Now we're going to copy this over into my cover artwork generation project, and this is basically what I do. Just place it in the middle, and maybe I also end up adjusting the curves a bit, or maybe the colors, something like that. Depending on what my actual vision is, the image turns out quite unique. So this would be a cover artwork which I would create. If I wanted to create an individual artwork using AI, I would have a different approach. So I'm going to show you right now how I do that using Higgsfield AI. On Higgsfield.ai, I developed the following approach, opening up the Create Image toolbox. And yeah, here you can see some of the artworks I already created using Nano Banana Pro or Nano Banana 2 with a 4K resolution and the aspect ratio of 9:16 in order to have like the vertical phone ratio, which we need for TikTok, for example, or social media in general. So the next thing would be to choose, let's say, an image on Pinterest and then ask Claude to recreate it using a very detailed prompt. I would show you just one of the prompts I created. For example, this one, hyper-realistic vertical 9:16 editorial portrait photograph in the style of a 90s, 2000s hip-hop magazine cover shoot, blah, blah, blah. And yeah, you can see it's a very long prompt, which we're going to copy over to Claude. Then basically just tell it, okay, listen, I want to have the image from Pinterest, which I found, like the bluish one, and you should recreate the prompt I just gave you so that I can recreate the image I found on Pinterest. So here's our prompt. Hyper-realistic vertical 9:16 ethereal portrait photograph, high-key, heavily overexposed, processed like an X-ray duotone scan. And we're going to copy this over and add it to our Higgsfield prompt. Now I take the prompt we created into Higgsfield. There it is. And using one of my reference images I created earlier, I'm going to provide it with additional information on my character. So I think this should be enough. Here we can see that Higgsfield is currently working on our image, and yeah. Just to make sure we don't end up with bad results, I'm gonna hit generate 3 more times so that we have 4 images, which we can then use as some sort of orientation. And as we can see, the images didn't turn out as expected. Now I'm gonna take a screenshot of that, and I'm gonna send the screenshot over to Claude and tell him to improve the prompt. So let's see what we're gonna end up with. Now we're back in the chat window with Claude, and I told him that it's the wrong perspective and wrong outfit, and that this person right here should be the reference. Claude just let us know that he understood the task, and yeah, here's the corrected prompt, which hopefully is going to provide us with an adequate image. Back in Higgsfield, we're going to delete the 4 images we created previously, and then we're going to hit generate another 4 times. And as we can see, it's, well, basically stuck with the reference image, and that's quite bad. So what we're going to do now, we're going to use one of the images I created earlier, and yeah, we're going to combine it with the prompt, and hopefully it's going to turn out better than the previous things we've created. As we're still encountering the same issues, we're once again deleting the images we've created using Nano Banana 2, and we're going to use Nano Banana Pro in order to get the desired results. Unfortunately, we didn't get the results we were looking for, but now we're going to switch over to something else. What I did is basically hand over the lyrics of the song to Claude, and then he just creates a prompt that suits the vibe of the track we created. What we're going to do now is download this image and create a cover artwork with it. Back in Photoshop, we're going to use the image we created using Higgsfield and crop it to an aspect ratio of 1:1. Now we're going to export it as a PNG file and use it as our cover artwork. Phase 4, the upload. Before I publish, I need a proper description. So back to Claude. In this window, I've opened up a chat with Claude where I instructed him to create such a description and create tags for a specific song. The instructions are right here. This is like an example, the song I created, and like the song text. And this is what the previous chat actually came up with when I used Claude. And here is a new song, which I also need a description for, and also the tags. And this is what Claude actually came up with. So yeah, it works out pretty well. What I would do is basically just take a screenshot of the descriptions of my songs and also like the tags and stuff like that, and create your own kind of workflow where you just instruct Claude to use your song name, song text, and also like the styles to create your own description, tags, and so on and so forth. The actual upload is pretty straightforward. First, we upload our track. Then we set the track title, the track link, the main artist, the genre, which I would say would be hip hop. And then we take the tags that Claude provides us with, basically right there. Still need to add them manually, which is quite tedious. And then we take the description, which we also get from the chat with Claude. So there we go. Now we could schedule our track, so the release wouldn't be immediate. Yeah, can do that, absolutely. And then if you're a pro user of SoundCloud, you can amplify the track and just get the first 200 users to listen to it and gain a bit of traction, I would say. And then you just add the artwork right here. And now you would basically just click on upload and it would then be uploaded to your SoundCloud profile. Because I already have this song in my library, I would not proceed with that. And that's why I just quit the upload and get back to my profile, where I would just proceed with replacing the image with the cover artwork we just created. So there we go. This is the final track with the description, the tags, and the cover artwork, which we can then listen to. That's basically it for now. And after we've published the track, the song is live and available to literally everyone. You could just share it via the link, which you've copied here. And even with the SoundCloud Pro subscription, you have the possibility to change or actually replace the file of the song itself. So if you're like working on the song and you have a final version later on, you can definitely replace the original file you've uploaded with a new one, and it just gets replaced. You don't lose your streams, you don't lose your comments, you don't lose your reactions on the song, and so on and so forth. Phase 5, the video. This is what actually travels on TikTok. I start from the cover or from Pinterest content that fits the song. And basically what I do is open up the video generation tool in Higgsfield, where I pick, for example, the 3D renderer preset with Seedance 2.0 fast. And of course, it's just 720p, but it's quite cheap with like 30 generation tokens. And then you provide it with an image you want to use. For example, I don't know, like the one we have right here. Once you do that, you end up with quite interesting results. Quite interesting, meaning that sometimes you may need multiple attempts to get a video that you actually like, but this is what mine currently look like. So there is no prompting involved, nothing, just an image you provided, and then you just try and error, try and error, try and error. Well, to be honest, this looks pretty good, but still it's like 720p in quality, 7 seconds long, and 9:16 aspect ratio, and maybe not that fluid regarding the FPS. So this one is pretty straightforward, using only one single image if you want to create a video that's not that complicated, complex, whatever you'd call it. And once you have multiple of these assets created, you can then use the video upscale functionality over here, which uses Topaz Labs plugins, and you can then upload the video files you've downloaded and basically just let Higgsfield upscale it using Topaz. And here's one example. So you have the original file, you would then click on 4K, advanced settings, 60 FPS slow motion ×1, and then upscale for 28 credits per video. So we have this video over here, which is basically the original file in 720p with 30 FPS, I guess. And then once it's upscaled, it looks way smoother, way better, and it's ready to go. I actually edited this video in 720p in Premiere, exported it, and then upscaled it. Then I just slapped the track underneath it, and it was ready to go on TikTok. And here we have the visualizer for Okean. As you can see in crispy 4K, 60 FPS, upscaled with frame interpolation. And yeah, it was actually pretty cool. Unfortunately, there's no sound on TikTok. So there's a link to the TikTok profile in my description so you can take a look at the visuals I created. As I wasn't quite satisfied with the previous ones I created, I basically just set them all to private. And the three you see over here are the ones that are publicly available. If you want to explore your creative possibilities, you can also open up a canvas. Here, for example, I have the canvas for Desetka, for the music project. And here you can see some things I collected. So prompts, inspiration from Pinterest, which basically comes from banana prompt. Here you can see images with prompts. And you could basically just download the image, send it to Claude, tell Claude to extract the prompt for you, and then you can add the prompt right here beside the image you've got it from and create images right here on the canvas, for example, using an image generator. So you could basically take the prompt you found somewhere on Pinterest, put it right here, add some reference image, and then you'd be good to go to create new images, videos, whatever. Phase 6, distribution and ads. The release goes out on SoundCloud and TikTok. And here's the final video on TikTok. So how I created this one was actually pretty straightforward. In Higgsfield, I went to the video cinema studio section. So I added 3 images as reference. For example, yeah, it was this one, and then this one. And I told Claude to just create smooth transitions and, well, a smooth experience watching it. And basically, I told it to create a 1080p video in a 9:16 aspect ratio, which turned out pretty nice. We have like here the reference images. The start frame would be this one and the end frame would be this one. Unfortunately, I started the other way around when I created the video, so I had to reverse it, and this is why some of the motion looks a bit off. But yeah, here you can add these images and of course the prompt. And here's the prompt which Claude gave me. All the prompts I've created will be summarized in a Google Docs file, which will then be linked in the description. And you can have a closer look at what I got here for this particular video on TikTok. On TikTok, I run ads across several days. So for example, there was this video right here, which I actually just promoted a bit and then it just went viral.
Vatra gori budan sam, celu noć na nogama. Sviđa mi se pokret tvoj, plešeš mi pred očima. Sladak mi je osmeh tvoj.
What happened with this video? Obviously it's AI generated, I didn't flag it, and TikTok, I think, restricted me from getting more views, but then I ran the ads and it just went viral. A lot of people just favorited it. Some commented, but also some shared it. So it was like the first viral thing because I was looking at my phone and it just went crazy. So yeah, there was like 5 to 10 euros per day for like 5 days. So not that much spend for like 30,000 views, which was quite a lot. So the parameters I'm setting for the ads are as follows. I'm gonna tell you right away. So when I'm running TikTok ads, I do the following. I just want to get more video views. I select the creatives I want to promote, and then I just, well, use the audience I created, which is basically audience from Serbia, Croatia, Bosnia. There are people from 18 to 34 years old that I'm targeting. So yeah, because Germany is not quite suitable for the content I'm creating because it's in Serbian, obviously. And the budget should be somewhere around 15 euros per day for like 7 days. So for 10 euros, you get about 10 to 15,000 views, which is quite good. So on the video I just showed you, for like 10 euros, I got like 30,000 views because it just went viral. But that's not the case with every single video you're going to post and promote. So here's the thing. Once you have the pipeline, every release is the same 6 steps. Lyrics, song, cover, upload, video, promote. The tools can change, the pipeline stays the same. Build the structure once and you can ship a finished promoted track on repeat. And build your artist profile, build your audience, and get your views, streams, and I don't know what. But unfortunately, currently we are facing issues with like releasing music to Spotify, YouTube Music, and whatnot, because of the fact that it's AI generated. And I'm currently trying to figure out a way how to extract stems from like Suno, create the melodies and stuff like that on Suno, also the vocals, then bring it to a digital audio workstation, and obviously start producing music in some sort of way that it's created by a human. Because, I mean, from my end, the lyrics are written by myself. I don't use any AI on the lyrics. Then again, like the music itself, I mean, like I iterate through a lot of versions to get the right one. And I think the stuff I release is not that bad because there is a lot of human touch involved. So for you, the next steps would be to check out what I've prepared. There's a lyric structure template in the description, also all the prompts you've seen, and as well as some additional information on Suno, on Higgsfield, on SoundCloud, and how to get everything up and running in no time. My artist profiles are linked to Desetka on SoundCloud and TikTok, so you can see the real results. For visual inspiration, you can find a ton on Pinterest, just by searching for the mood you want, exactly like I do. The next step would be to build your own persona, pick one platform, ship one single track, all the way through. One release, start to finish. The key insight from today's video is that you don't need a studio, a label, or a film crew to build an artist anymore. You need a process. You need the patience to iterate. This is version 1 of Desetka. There is a lot more coming. My name is Damjan. Thank you for watching. If this was helpful, subscribe for more AI tutorials. See you in the next video.